Coming up on OU Nightly, we have a chance for severe weather this weekend. I have all the details coming up.
Plus, Norman residents struggling with low water pressure. We'll tell you what caused the problem. And celebrating diversity on campus, how the international community at OU came together. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Ireland Fitzer.
And I'm Noah Mack. We begin tonight with a severe weather threat this weekend.
OU Nightly meteorologist Chloe Arroyo joins us with the first look at the forecast. Chloe?
That's right, y'all. We have a chance for severe weather into this weekend, Saturday afternoon into the evening. To be specific, Norman, a slight risk, but Tulsa, as you head into northeastern Oklahoma, you have a little bit more of an elevated risk, sitting at an enhanced risk as we head into tomorrow. See the wind gusts. Notice where they're coming from. They're coming from the south, warming us up pretty nicely. And when we have those warmer temperatures, we tend to become a little bit more unstable. And that's where our energy is really formed across the board. So coming up here in a bit, I've got the rest of the details, including the timeline on the forecast, as well as the rest of the temperatures as we head into next week. We'll see quite a bit of a cool down. I'll have all the details coming up.
Thanks, Chloe. And water is flowing again tonight in East Norman, but that wasn't the case last night. Low or even no water pressure was caused by a major water line break. OU Nightly's Dakota Wapakichi is live with the story. Dakota?
Yeah, the water right here is not like last night, and the city says they're hoping to make a full recovery by Sunday, with some areas already better.
I'm here between 24th and 36th on Robinson.
OU students and their parents were saying they didn't have decent water pressure across Norman. This was because of a water line break in northeast Norman near Robinson and 24th Avenue.
Get away from that.
Those living in apartments in southeast Norman, like Red Point and the Ave, reported struggling with low water pressure. Dorms on campus saw this too, according to OU parents. City officials say the problem was one of the two lines going from the Vernon Campbell water treatment plant, but they had some trouble figuring out where the leak was.
We determined which line was broke, isolated that section of line, and used the other parallel line to restore service. So we're under normal operations now, but we're working on the fix to the line that's broken.
The city notified Norman residents that the water line broke at 7:30 p.m. last night. This morning at 8:30, water pressure was back to normal. They say this wasn't just a South Norman problem, but really the entire city.
We don't actually know what caused that little pressure blip, so we're going to research that, and we'll look at that to see are there other measures we need to do to protect our system a little bit better.
And they say there's really nothing you can do to prepare for something like this, but as a precaution, you should have an emergency readiness kit. And they say to keep up with the City of Norman's website for updates. And we'll also keep you updated. In Norman, Dakota Wapakichi, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Dakota. And State Superintendent Ryan Walters is calling on Oklahoma lawmakers to act against Chinese-backed education programs. OU Nightly's Melina Samir is in the newsroom with more. Melina?
State Superintendent Ryan Walters says the Oklahoma State Department of Education has uncovered Chinese influence in Oklahoma schools. In a memo to the legislator, Walters is asking lawmakers to stop school districts to accept funding from, quote, hostile foreign governments. He also wants the legislator to require districts to gather more financial information about organizations the schools partner with. Walters says this issue came to light after a partnership between Tulsa Public Schools and the Chinese International Education Foundation. According to the Tulsa World, Tulsa Public Schools has denied receiving support from China. Noah, Ireland.
Thanks, Melina. OU has about 2,000 international students, and today the campus got a little taste of that diversity. The OU International Advisory Committee put together an international bazaar in the South Oval. It gave the community a chance to try different foods and experience a festival of cultures.
Get out of that bubble. Like, experience something a little different, you know, go to an organization you've never been to before. Just find out what they're about. You'll be surprised at how many people you get to meet, and like new friends as well. Like, I am in my senior year and I'm still meeting people. I'm still learning so much, and there'll never be an end to my learning, and I love that.
If you missed the bazaar today, IAC does host events throughout the entire semester, showcasing all the cultures represented at OU. And coming up on OU Nightly, an update about the body found in Pottawatomie County.
We have the latest from the county sheriff.
And a U.S. congressman from New Jersey has been indicted.
We'll tell you what charges he faces after this. The search for a missing person in Pottawatomie County comes to an end. Spencer Tabb has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center. Spencer?
The Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office identified Michaela Faye Byers as the body found Wednesday night. The Sheriff's Office says the body was found along a gravel road in the rural area off of Highway 59B near Hamilton Road. Deputies say Byers went missing last Friday after she left home to go on a date. We'd like to thank our partners at News 9 for this video. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez indicted on bribery charges this morning. Menendez and his wife are accused of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in exchange for political influence. Prosecutors say Menendez received these bribes through gold, cash, and a luxury vehicle. This is the senator's second time in the last decade facing bribery and conspiracy charges. And the United Auto Workers strike grows to 38 distribution centers. Right now, those workers are targeting General Motors and Stellantis. Ford was spared additional strikes due to the company meeting many of the union's demands. The union says Ford is showing interest in reaching a deal while General Motors and Stellantis are a different story. And Starbucks is facing a class action lawsuit that alleges its fruit refresher drinks do not contain the fruit they advertise. Ireland, Noah.
Thank you, Spencer. And coming up on OU Nightly, an elderly woman in Tennessee was caught in a house fire.
But it wasn't a firefighter who put out the flames. Find out who saved her after this.
Plus, we're tracking the chances for severe weather into tomorrow. I've got all the details. Stick around. I'm coming up next. Well, thanks for joining us here at OU Nightly. We are currently seeing conditions very calm compared to what we'll see tomorrow. Current conditions right now 86 degrees, a whole lot cooler than what we've seen with the triple digits in the past week or two. Continuing to see that. Dew point at 70 degrees. We saw some rainfall earlier this morning, especially for our folks in eastern Oklahoma, but that has since pushed off to the east, so we really don't have anything across the state. But the dew point has changed because of that, has increased, but also the temperatures have decreased in eastern Oklahoma because of that. Idabel down 14 degrees just in the past 24 hours. Now the folks who didn't see that rainfall went up a good 20 degrees, especially in Lawton, a good 23. So we're continuing to see this heat continue to push off to the east as we warm up into tomorrow. Current temperatures 98 degrees for Lawton. However, Idabel down here at 72. So quite the drastic change. Really, I-35 and just west of that are seeing those hotter temperatures, but that won't last much longer because we have this chance for severe weather heading into tomorrow afternoon into the evening. We've got lots of risk for that. Really the biggest threat is the isolated risk for hail, just because we'll have isolated cells pop up with this off into eastern, especially into northeastern Oklahoma. So timing that out, here's what we really want to look out for. Notice the pockets where there aren't any clouds. That's where the sun is really going to peek out, and that's where our biggest instability will be across the environment. You can kind of see a pocket of air right here where there aren't any clouds, and that's where the storms are going to continue to develop. Off in northeastern Oklahoma, could extend further down south once again, depending on how warm we get and how unstable we can continue to see. Eastern Oklahoma will see those scattered showers and storms, some of which could be strong, some of which could be severe, ending up into early Sunday morning. This is Sunday at noon, will then end up being will end up being out of the region. Now, we'll see a cold front in addition with that. 80 degrees just across the board, 86, 84, even 85 heading into the rest of the week. So here's an overview, a recap of the rest of the week. We'll see those temperatures cool down before they ramp back up into the 90s, but really the biggest thing to worry about chances for storms heading into tomorrow.
And so what kind of precautions can folks take out there?
Yes. So like I said, the biggest chance that we could see is hail. And so make sure that you're parking your car underneath something of some sort. That's really the biggest thing. Just keep those cars safe, all of that.
Of course, and to get updates on those storms and notifications, you'll want to sign up for OU Nightly's weather call ahead of tomorrow's severe weather risk.
Scan the QR code on your screen to register. For only $12 a year, you will receive a call when severe weather alerts are issued for your location.
And be sure to follow OU Nightly's social media pages. Your campus weather authority will be posting forecast updates. And a woman from Tennessee woke up to find her home in flames, but was saved by an unlikely passerby.
87-year-old Maddie White fell asleep after leaving grease unattended on her stove. Her dog was the one to wake her up to the fire and immediately started yelling for help.
That's when FedEx driver Eldon Borg came to her rescue. He called 911 and without hesitation entered her home to put out the flames with a sink hose.
While Borg didn't get out unharmed, he says it was just the right thing to do.
And our OU Nightly sports team is live from Cincinnati with a look at what's to come for Oklahoma football this weekend.
And a recap of some Oklahoma high school football this weekend. All of that and more coming up in Big Friday Sports.
Jam-packed show today with everything from OU to high school to the pros. I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel.
And I'm Emily Faith. Tonight we kick off with college football. Before this season started, I covered Big 12 Media Days in Arlington, Texas. I had the opportunity to talk in person with Cincinnati's head football coach, Scott Satterfield, about their history and what's to come for the Sooners and the Bearcats. 2008 and 2010, Oklahoma and Cincinnati assumed they'd never meet again, but destiny had a different plan. As the Sooners travel to Bearcat territory, Cincinnati's head coach Scott Satterfield looks forward to opening conference play against a college football blue blood.
Well, I looked at that and I was like, oh, okay, they're going to send us, one of the most recognizable teams in the country. To play the first game. To be able to play a team like that with so much history, have really done some exciting things in the game of football for a long time. To bring them to our stadium, we know it's going to be very electric. What a way to start the Big 12 play against a team like Oklahoma.
Senior defensive end Jawan Briggs believes that the culture at Cincinnati is what will set the Bearcats up for success during conference play.
Playing a Big 12 schedule is definitely exciting, but I think our guys are just more raring to, showcase that chip on our shoulder and really just getting ready to play again. Enough is not enough. Just make sure you're not being complacent any day. I'd say our culture is pretty much unmatched, it's unchanged, and the guys in the locker room are really, a testament to that. It's effort, attitude, and toughness. Those are our, guiding lines. So when you come play UC, that's what you'll see.
Conference play kicks off this weekend with the Sooners hunting for Bearcats and a 4-0 record. Our OU Nightly sports team is live from Cincinnati to give us a look at the Bearcats' Big 12 debut. Stone Brig.
Thanks, guys. Greetings from Cincinnati, Ohio. He's Brig Bates. I'm Stone Weber, and we're here ahead of OU's first conference game of the season and Cincinnati's first ever Big 12 game. And going back to last week, Brig, that OU defense was amazing, only giving up 17 points and had 5 interceptions. Yeah. But for OU cornerback Woody Washington, he knows that this unit can be better.
I think we're playing well. It's been some tough fights. The SMU game was a tougher game than others, but I feel like we're playing well, and I feel like we're going to continue to do good things this season.
And yeah, Stone, like you said, that defense is feasting across all levels, and the takeaways have been the main part of why this defense is finally turning around. Defensive coordinator Ted Roof thinks this year the Sooners have to keep capitalizing on those takeaways going into conference play.
It's always been a game of field position, and it always will be. And to be able to flip the field with takeaways. And I was also proud of, the first series with the way the game started, getting a takeaway on the first series as well. So I think our guys are doing a good job making plays on the football. At the same time, got to continue to do that and create some fumbles.
And not only are we here covering the game, but Fox's Big Noon kickoff is here as well. Earlier today, Brig and I caught up with a couple of Big Noon guys to hear their thoughts on OU football in 2023.
Our thoughts are TBD. I don't think we know. Mm-hmm. We've seen this before, right? This 3-0 start, out of conference opponents. The offense looks good. The defense looks okay. So I think we're kind of waiting. It's like this Judgment Saturday that we're all waiting to figure out, like, what Oklahoma team is it? Is it last year's Oklahoma, or is it the Oklahoma that we've all been expecting, the Oklahoma that we're used to?
Well, we know their offense is electric, and Dylan Gabriel's doing his thing, and right now the defense, they're number one scoring offense and number one scoring defense in the Big 12, but they have not played a Power 5 opponent yet, so they want to be able to translate that defensive performance to Big 12 play.
What are we talking about? Of course they can. I know what happened last year, but if you're Oklahoma, if you're wearing the crimson and cream, you can compete with Texas every single year, and I would argue that you are better than Texas if you look at the track record. Is Texas back? We'll find out. Is Oklahoma back? We're also waiting for that one too.
I know they're hungry for it. I know they got the talent for it. So we'll see. We'll see starting tomorrow if they can continue to grow, continue to improve, and be able to challenge Texas for that Big 12 title.
I think we all agree that the offense is elite and the defense is better. So I don't think this is a sub 500 team. I think this is a top 15 team. I think it has a chance to be a top 10 team, and who knows if they can really click and find their way under Venables. But I don't think Brent's going to stand for what happened last year. So and I think the rest of us on Big Noon expect a totally different Oklahoma record this year compared to last.
Lead through these first 3 games, but they need to see them play some stronger opponents.
Yeah, Stone, I think everyone can agree with the Big Noon guys. It's early in the season. Last year, the Sooners started out 3-0 heading into conference play, and they finished 6-7. But this year might be different. We'll find out tomorrow morning against Cincinnati. But before the game, 9 a.m., Game Day U goes live to cover the Sooners. We'll have more from Cincinnati. For Stone Weber, I'm Brig Bates. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brig and Stone. Now, since Brig is in Cincinnati, we have a special edition of Ballin' with Brig for you today. It's time for Kickoff with Kaylee Carnine. Kaylee, what's happening in high school football this week?
Yeah, Emily, this is Kickoff with Kay, as Bishop McGinnis brought the energy to the OKC stands last night for their homecoming game against Shawnee. A familiar Sooner face was bringing the energy on the sidelines. Moses Madu, a former Sooner running back standout, now coaches the running backs at McGinnis. Bishop was on the board first when quarterback Damon Cochran connected with Peter Balicki for a 19-yard touchdown. After the half, Cochran would find Andrew Harris for his 4th total touchdown of the game with 3:12 left in the 3rd quarter. Jack Foster shuffled through the Shawnee defense for a touchdown to seal the win for the Irish. The Irish were able to find the gold at the end of the game with a final score of 48-10. We'll see if the Irish's luck runs out as they play Eisenhower High School in Lawton next Thursday. Emily, Kaylee, Joe.
Thanks, Kaylee. The Red River rivalry is coming early, but this time on the court.
That's right. OU volleyball takes on a familiar foe, and we have the latest on Oklahoma and Texas's move from the Big 12 coming up next.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports, and if you find yourself out in Cincinnati, it is going to be a great first day of fall and a great first day of Big 12 play. Great first day for Cincinnati to start their time here in the Big 12. Tailgating time 64 degrees, warming up to 72 by kickoff, 76 at halftime, and reaching the 80s by the end of the game. Now here in Norman, we have that chance for severe weather, but not out in Cincinnati, so make sure you are part of Weather Call so you can get those severe weather alerts anywhere from your phone.
Thanks, Peyton, and welcome back to Big Friday Sports. We return to college football news. There are 6 games featuring AP Top 25 teams tomorrow, the most in September since 2006.
College football is heating up this week with plenty of ranked matchups. While the Sooners kick off in Cincinnati at 11 a.m., the Texas Longhorns hope to hook the Baylor Bears in Waco Saturday night. Now, looking outside of the Big 12, Ole Miss looks to swim above that Alabama Crimson Tide, and Colorado will stampede into Oregon, hoping to defeat a top 10 team.
And over in the pros on Sunday, the Broncos trade the mountains for the beach to face the Dolphins at noon. The Cowboys look to lasso the Kyler Murray-less Cardinals at 3:25 p.m. And the Bears take on the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs with the same kickoff time. Monday night marks the battle of the Oklahoma QBs as Tampa Bay's Baker Mayfield and Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts fight for a 3-0 record. Lincoln Riley continues to make headlines as USC football removes the suspension for one beat reporter.
After facing a week of scrutiny from people across the country, Riley released a statement saying the reporter agreed to respect USC's policies and is welcomed back to cover Trojan football. When Oklahoma and Texas announced their departure from the Big 12, they were looking at buyouts of up to $160 million. However, in an agreement made with the Big 12 Conference, OU and Texas will instead pay $100 million, which allows them to leave the conference early without spending a fortune.
Sooner magic, more like John Crane magic. OU soccer is on fire at home after clawing down K-State 2-0. Kaylee England takes it from Andy Wolf's back, kicking Oklahoma's first goal before the 2nd-minute mark. In the 53rd minute, one of K-State's own knocks it in the Wildcat goal, scoring for the Sooners. The victory extends OU's win streak at home to 6, the second longest in program history since 2005. The wait for some fall ball is finally over, with OU softball announcing its fall schedule. The reigning 3-time national champion Sooners will revive their battle series with 6 intra-squad scrimmages. The slate rounds out with outside opponents North Central Texas College and Seminole State. First pitch is at 6 p.m. for each game right here in Norman.
Tonight, Oklahoma volleyball opens conference play against the Texas Longhorns. The showdown will take place at McCaslin Fieldhouse starting at 6 p.m. Sooner fans are encouraged to wear their crimson during the games.
This weekend, OU men's tennis swings from the Battle of the Bay in San Francisco and the U.S. Cup Collegiate Classic in Mexico.
Tune into Sooner Sports Pad next Tuesday on ESPN Plus to catch an exclusive interview with 2 of those OU tennis studs. Thanks for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. Have a safe and football-filled weekend.